your courses.
Okay. Well, thank you. And where you located?
Pennsylvania.
Okay. All right. Great. We have Rhonda online, but it doesn't look like Rhonda is Rhonda. Is that a man?
No, it is not Rhonda. I don't know why it's showing up as Rhonda. I can tell you. I've seen this. I've been using Zoom on my computer. This is my personal computer. My wife's name is Rhonda, and she's used it for Zoom in the past. But I've used this for Zoom up to a week and a half ago, and it didn't show up as Rhonda. So I don't know what's going on.
That's
Um,
okay. Welcome to the community.
but hi, Paula. This is my name is Colwyn. We've met before. I've taken the class about 3 years ago, but I wasn't ready at the time.
Mm.
So I'm back and hopefully going for the full ride this time.
Okay.
Background, I think you asked as well. I think you
Yes.
did ask about background. Okay, background. I've been in IT for over 20 years, both as a technician, as an engineer, and but currently I'm still in IT. I'm in the satellite communications world, but I don't do anything technical anymore. I actually manage a group of vendor managers and problem managers.
Okay. Thank you. And where you located?
I'm in Conyers, Georgia.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Dr. Denise.
Hi, how are you? Such a
Good
pleasure to be
morning.
here. I am here because my husband, Michael King, told me this would be a great place for me to be to learn more about this field. And I'm in Pennsylvania right now.
And your background?
Well, I am a college professor and writer and entrepreneur. My specialty is human communication. I'm also an author. I focus on effective teaching.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Welcome. Miss Angela. Angela Shanowick. I believe that's how I pronounce it. Can you unmute yourself? Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning. Thank you. Um, so I heard about this program from my husband, Wesley. I think he's taken the class before. We have
Mm,
a company called Grizzly Delivery. It's a logistics company that delivers just about anything, packages, documents, and we also have a transportation company in Athens called Grizzly Rides.
okay.
And so he just told me that this would be a good program. He said that it would be good for me to learn about procurement, and we're thinking about getting our companies involved in that in
Okay.
the
Well,
future.
thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. We have someone on the iPhone. Can,
Yes.
can you introduce yourself? I got two
Hi.
people on the iPhone.
Um,
Samsung and then the regular iPhone. Yes, go ahead, Sam.
Samsung. My name is Zelda Quintine, and I was referred from Kimberly Johnson.
Okay. All right. And what's your background and where are you located?
I worked at the post, retired from the post office as a carrier. I also do business, customized making jewelry, and I also work for a school bus company now.
Okay. All right. Thank you and welcome. The other
Thank
person
you.
that's on the iPhone, can you unmute yourself?
How you turn this around?
Okay. Dr. Shelton, while we have the one on the iPhone, if you can unmute yourself.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Dr. Rose Shelton. I'm a clinical psychologist,
Mhm.
licensed professional counselor. I think I heard you on Karen Hunter show. I
On,
think that's
on, on what? The Karen Hunter Show?
I think so.
Yes, I did call in last Wednesday.
Yeah. So, and I had just been, I had been speaking with someone about, creating a program and also going into, to get certified 8A and, provide, services through there. And then you called the next day and I was like, okay, well, let me just check and see what she's putting together.
Well,
So thank you.
Welcome to the community. Thank you. Mr. Gordon. Carlton,
Yes, good morning.
good morning.
I'm an IT person. I heard you on Karen's show and I decided to check in with your session that you're having today. Just to get updated.
And where are you located?
I'm in New York.
Okay, great. Welcome. And we just had another iPhone user to join us. Can you please introduce yourself?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Shameka Dean. I am located in Florida. I'm a licensed mental health therapist, and I was listening to Karen Hunter and decided to join in.
Okay, thank you. Well, welcome. I'm glad you taken your morning to spend a little time with me. And I like to say on Saturday morning, I'm going to take you out to church. Is that okay?
Okay. Miss Paula, real quick, Miss Lumpkin, Kimberly.
Oh,
She's on.
Kimberly. Yes, I Kimberly.
Good morning. Well, I
morning.
invited Zelda, y'all, so I always get on when I invite someone. So,
And give them, let the community know who you are. And
oh,
congratulations on your retirement
well,
from
thank you.
CDC.
Thank you. Well, I like she said, just retired from CDC, and now I'm ready to start working in government contracts. I've been involved since 2016, 2017, and now I can. And so I get on and I tell everybody this is the way. So
Thank you. She's been my biggest cheerleader. I appreciate that, Kimberly, because it's real. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cut off my camera and I'm going to go ahead and jump into this morning's presentation. Okay, let's go from the start. All right, we are the Government Procurement Innovator Company, better known as GPI. We are your solution to federal procurement. I will consistently say this is a trying time as we go into this election year, but I can really say what this president has done for minority-owned businesses during his administration. I've benefited from it, and he's also holding these agencies accountable for making sure that minority-owned businesses get contracts. He issued an executive order last year where he was requiring the agencies to increase their goals as it relates to economically disadvantaged individuals, better known as SDBs, to 15% by 2025. So they've also captured the dollars that went into this specific program. So for me, it is important that we get into the game now before we don't know what's going to happen with the election year. And contracts are always going to be advertised or need support as long as the government is here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Paula Watts. I am the founder and owner of the CEO and founder of Government Procurement Innovators. My background, originally I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. After college, I went to Washington, D.C., and my first job was with a company that was a part of the 8A program. How many of you have heard of the 8A program by show of hands? If not, we're going to go into a little bit more depth about this program. My first job was an event planner with a company who was a part of that program. And every 3 years, I attached myself to the contract, and every 3 years, I went to a new 8A company, whereas I ended up going through 5 before I decided to start my own business in 1996. My first year in business, I received my first $1 million contract. Second year, I applied into the 8A program and received another $3 million contract. And I was able to grow the company in a short period of time to close to $15 million in contracts with almost 40 employees. I had 2 business partners. And that's really where the challenge became for me, because I went from a project manager to running a multi-million-dollar company and didn't have a clue of what I was doing. I had a business partner who felt like he could run all his personal expenses through the company. The last straw for me was a $3,000 custom-made pinstripe suit with his initials going down the pinstripe. Like, you have lost your mind. I had my assistant to do an audit on his credit card. He takes her in the elevator and threatens her. I then, in turn, terminate him. He conspires with 2 employees to sue me and the other partner for sexual harassment. After 2 years of attorney fees, $125,000 in attorney fees, $100,000 to buy him out, I ended up shutting the business down. And it really pushed me to my new passion, because I realized no one was training our community on how to build businesses and grow businesses in this space. So I volunteered for 2 years as a SCORE counselor, which is a resource partner of SBA, in the DC office. After 2 years there, I ran out of money, applied for a position with the Small Business Administration, and I was hired in 2008 in the Philadelphia district office. After 4 years there, I relocated here to Atlanta, Georgia. My role at SBA was to service the businesses that were part of the 8A program. But the office that I was hired in Philadelphia, that was the office that actually processed the applications for those who were entering in that program. So it gave me a good insight on what they were looking for and how they were declining businesses entering into that program. While at SBA, they required that we become certified as a contract specialist. And for me, that was the missing piece, meaning I'd run a business for 10 years. I worked in SBA for 7 years, and I wasn't quite sure what those agencies, what was the process for those agencies to actually post a solicitation. So by becoming certified as a contract specialist, that allowed me to understand the agency's process as they create the opportunities for small businesses. I've trained more than 10,000 businesses on marketing to the federal government, assisted small businesses to win over. I'm gonna have to update my PowerPoint because we had a client last year who won $1 billion contract. So it's almost 1.5 billion in contracts that I've assisted the small businesses in winning. I've self-published a book called That's Crazy, Recognize Crazy and Run. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. So what did I find as it relates to people entering into this space? What were some of the challenges? While working at SBA, I would host a workshop, and everyone would host a workshop, and you leave away with great information, but not quite sure what to do with that information. And I felt it was the same thing with these federal agencies. No one really understood SBA's operations and not sure how to connect the dots. I will consistently say, unless you have worked inside SBA, nobody can understand their processes. Some of the barriers for small businesses entering into this space is understanding the government's language. So often when you're participating in some of these government events, they're using a lot of acronyms and assuming that small businesses, everyone understands them. Understanding their processes, understanding what certifications do I qualify for. Once I determine that, what type of supporting documentations will be required to submit as part of that certification. Also understanding that the government is siloed. No one talks to each other. And it makes it difficult for folks entering into this space because these websites aren't connected, but you have to kind of work with all of them in order for it to really make sense for anyone. Based on that, I created this training program when I left SBA in 2015 because what I realized working with SBA's resource partners is that no one was teaching businesses the process. So what I've developed is a program that combines the business side along with the government side and SBA's rules and regulations. And having worked with a lot of SBA's resource partners, what you'll hear a lot of the partners tell you is to stay in your lane, stay locally. You're not ready for the federal. And I completely disagree. First, and stay in your skill set. So what I realized in this space is you cannot limit your business. When I won that first contract and I was marketing my business to a lot of the agencies, one of my mentors pulled me aside and said, "Why are you pigeonholing yourself?" And when he said that, it made sense based on the 5 companies I'd gone through and those that were successful. Once he did that, told me that, I changed my business model. I changed my business model from an event planning company to a management consulting company, and I created divisions. I had an administrative division, I had an IT division, I had a publication division, I had a database division. And once I created those divisions, I started winning contracts in those areas. So the first thing that you have to understand and learn is your business should not be built on your skill set. You're never going to be able to grow a business if you're working in that business. If you think of the educational system, it's all designed for you to work for someone else. We do have a couple of doctorates online right now, but as part of your doctorate's degree, did they teach you how to expand your business model, how to grow your practice? Anybody? Dr. Shelton or Dr. Denise? Was that part of the equation?
No, not for me.
And in the end, it's a business and not necessarily your skill set. So in the first module of the program, we'll teach you how to build out a business model that's not necessarily based on your skill set, but having it to be sustainable in this space. The first thing is the second thing is understanding collaboration is key. In SBA's programs and in these federal contracts, they require you to, where most of them, kind of make you try to team and collaborate. And it makes sense. Because if I look at the amount of people that's currently online, that's one big contract. But we have to understand how to work together and how to pull our skill sets together to help each other. Collaboration is key. So in the government ready module, the second part, we teach you how to team and work together. Third part is you must have the infrastructure in place to support these contracts. Does anyone know what I mean by infrastructure? Anybody?
Talking about things like your website and of that nature.
Your accountant, your attorneys. If you currently have employees, you need to obtain what they call employment practice liability insurance. Had I had that insurance, that would have covered the lawsuit and the partner buyout. That's insurance coverage that's a separate than your general business liability insurance. So a lot of the things that you don't know, and that's why I created this program. It's based on what I wish someone would have told me in that first business. So when you look at the federal government, does anyone know when the federal government's fiscal year begins and ends? This is interactive, everybody. Anybody? October 1st through September 30th. So what generally happens and what is actually happening right now is these agencies will operate on what they call a continuing resolution. They're operating on a limited budget. So for you as a small business, there's a peak time and a downtime for you to market to the agency. The peak time to market, meaning beginning to build those relationships and connect with them, is generally between October and February. But since we're still operating on a continuing resolution that is scheduled to end March 8th, that means once they pass the budget, those agencies now for this year will not receive, once they go through the stages, their full funding until probably April or May. So from April to May to September, it's bidding time. The government is trying to get rid of all of their money by the end of September. Why federal contracts? Every year, the government sets aside SBA have the agency set aside goals. And the SBA grades them. 23% of contracts are set aside first, just for you as a small business. 5% if you're woman-owned. 5% for small disadvantaged businesses and participants of the 8A program. 3% for service-disabled veterans. 3% for HUD-zone businesses. So what it means for you is that if you are awarded a contract by an agency and you're a small business, that agency, and let's say it was for $100,000, that agency now gets $100,000 credit towards their goal. Now, if you're a small business and woman-owned, the agency now gets $200,000 credit towards their goal. So the more certifications you have, the more you helping the agencies achieve their goals. SBA keeps a scorecard for each of the programs. And you can see over here from the last fiscal year, how many contracts were awarded in each of these programs. So it's a whole lot of money being awarded, but part of our strategy is teaching you to identify what agencies did not meet their women-owned small businesses, because you can see that they fell short in that last fiscal year. And the same thing as it relates to that HubZone program. The reason I'm showing this PowerPoint, because for me, this is a program that's to my heart, meaning this is a program that helps create generational wealth. And I wanted you to see the types of the actual agencies and the amount of awards that they are awarding in this one specific program, as well as the different industries, so that you can get a general idea of how you strategically position yourself for these contracts that are in this program. Also, what I realized when I moved from the DMV area and went to Pennsylvania, and then we relocated here to Atlanta, I realized everyone outside of that DMV area did not have a clue, just based on the number of businesses in this program. And you can see here, something is wrong. When I entered SBA, there was at least 10,000 businesses. So we're losing businesses not participating in this program. And again, the president is trying to have the agencies to increase their percentage of contract awards to try to at least level the playing field. When I looked at this particular chart that came from this report, it tells a story. And having worked with a lot of the businesses, I didn't have the data. Now I have the data to prove what I knew was happening as I serviced those businesses. What I realized here in Georgia, there's 200, it's probably about 200 firms. I had 40 firms that I was responsible for. Out of the 40, only 5 or 6 was truly winning contracts. And most of them was not winning any contracts until that 4th or 5th year into the program. So when I started looking at this data, it tells a story. Here, what does it tell a story to anyone else? Can you all see the story? What does this look like to you guys? Nobody want to talk with me this morning.
It looks like a lot of the contracts are being awarded in the DMV area.
Yes. So what you had was, these are all contracts that were awarded here in the state of Georgia.
Oh.
And all of the Virginia DMV is coming here winning contracts. No competition.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you have here in Georgia? Military bases, 5 military bases and CDC. So what I tell businesses here in Georgia, go to Alabama or the surrounding states to look at opportunities. But something is wrong when you start looking at the number of minority-owned businesses that are in this program. I just refuse to believe in New York, I think it's only 65 businesses that's in that program. Something's wrong. I refuse to believe that we don't have more than 58 businesses in the entire state of Alabama, minority owned, that can qualify into this program. Something is wrong. In Florida, again, a little better. We have our Latino brothers and sisters who are qualifying. So this is the website that is posted, where opportunities are posted. And what I realized, again, working with SBA, is that you don't have as much competition on the federal side. Meaning, I can be here in Georgia and win a contract in California. Your goal is to expand your business and not pigeonhole yourself to that Pacific area. It's more competition if you're competing on with local and state contracts. Just to provide you an example, the government for small businesses specifically set aside certain contracts that are $250,000 and below. That's what we train you to go after in the beginning. That's called the low-hanging fruit. This is an example of an opportunity. The government needed retail shop supplies for the Library of Congress. These are the items that they're looking for. Do I need to be in retail to submit on this opportunity? Anyone?
Nope.
Nope. What would you do?
No.
What would you do?
I would find a company that provides those kinds of items and purchase those items through them and send it out to the customer.
Yes, but you're going to have a good relationship with them because they have in volume. So whoever you're going to be partnering with, you have to make sure that they're able to produce this kind of volume. So you get the volume and then you put your cost on top of that particular item. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
And they're very clear on what they're looking for you to in submitting this offer. Not that complicated. And they'll tell you exactly what they're looking for in each of the sections. So this is the type of low-hanging fruit that we try to get you to target in the beginning. The other thing is HUD. I mean, every agency will have a forecast. And I like HUD's forecast because they update their information every year. I mean, every month. So you can go in and actually see the opportunities that they are anticipating awarding for that fiscal year. They're telling you when they expect a solicitation date to be released and the award date. And then over here is the list, the total contract years. So when you see base plus 2 option years, that's a 3-year contract. Here is a 4-year contract. So when you look at things like this, the government needs retirement plaques. So I would start reaching out to this young lady beforehand to see how many retirement plaques are you anticipating as part of this award. So when it is released, I've already made the arrangement and have gotten as much details and ready to submit. So you're getting in front of the opportunities. Whereas on SAM.gov, those are live, real opportunities. Have any questions? And is this making sense to you?
Yes, making a lot of sense.
All right, so let's talk about how do we get into the game? You can self-certify as a small business through this database, Systems for Awards Management. It's the same database where they're posting the opportunities. This is still a relatively new database and a lot of bugs. When they launched it and we were at SBA, we called it such a mess because that's your first challenge, is getting through this without pulling out your hair. You can self-certify as a small business and a small disadvantaged business. There are only 4 certification programs that you have to be approved by SBA. The 8A program, which is a business development program. The HubZone program is designed to build communities. And women-owned is just what it is, and service disabled is just what it is. So why am I so passionate about the 8A program? Because having lived, breathed, and participated in, understanding it, I know this is the pathway for our children's children. I don't know any other program that's going to allow you to have access of contracts up to $4 million with no competition. That's called a sole source. And you're in it for 9 years. Did the church hear that?
Yes.
Can I get an amen from the church?
Yes. Amen.
Amen.
You're building this business for you have 9 years in this business. So I'm in this program. So what I tell married people, family members, we're going to get 18 years in this program because soon as one goes through the program and graduates from the program, you're going to always have somebody else that you're grooming that's now going to allow you to have 18 years in the program. I don't think y'all caught that jam there. Did y'all get that? Do I need to repeat what I just said?
Oh,
Yes.
We got it.
Gotcha.
I got it.
This is how we, again, change the game. This is how we build these legacies. The HubZone program is based on where your business is located. It's designed to build communities. So when you look at Magic Johnson, what did Magic Johnson do? Anybody know what Magic Johnson did?
Got movie theater, built movie theaters.
He went into urban areas, built movie theaters, partnered with Starbucks, and he hired from within that community. And that's the same concept of this program. It's designed to build communities. So in order to qualify in this program, your business must be located in a HubZone, and 35% of your employees must reside in a HubZone. It doesn't have to be in the same location as that business, just as long as it resides in a, as long as they're living in a HubZone. Previously, before this affirmative action nonsense, that's what I call it, the social component of this program, of the 8A program, was based on whether or not you were a member of any one of these ethnic groups. It automatically qualified you. Since the affirmative action ruling, now they're requiring that you have to provide a narrative on how you're being discriminated against, which again is foolishness to me. The other component of this program is based on your economic net worth. SBA is going to look at your net worth, and as long as it does not exceed $850,000, minus any equity in your home and any equity in your business. Now, if you have any rental properties or real estate, that equity will be counted against you. Anybody have any questions?
Mm-mm.
Do I have any real estate brokers online? No real estate. Okay. The other component of this program that no one talks about is this Just Us system. For those who have touched that system, and most of those in that system from our community, I would say, is based on economics. They can start a business, they can, after they are off for parole or probation, they can start a business and start accessing these contracts as well. To me, that's another way for them to be able to provide for their families economically. The HubZone program, it has no term limits on that program. You recertify every year. In this program, you also get access to what they call sole source, those contracts up to 4 million, and competitive contracts, but you're only competing with the businesses in this program. But the difference with this sole source as opposed to the 8A program is that in order for the agency to award a business a sole source in this program, they have to make sure that there are at least 2 businesses that are qualified. They call that the rule of 2. So that's why I say we come together and we learn to work together. So if we have 2 businesses that are in the HubZone, I encourage businesses to respond to that same opportunity and try to force the agency to do a sole source to one of the 2, but you all cut deals beforehand. If I win, I'll subcontract to you. If you win, I'll subcontract to you. This program also allows what they call a 10% price evaluation preference, meaning if the government has a full and open contract, meaning everyone can respond to it, and you're in the HubZone program, the government will add 10% onto someone outside of the program. As an example, if you submitted a bid at $535,000 as a HubZone participant, and someone else outside submitted their bid at $500,000, the government's going to add 10% onto that $500,000 bid, therefore making their bid $550,000, and you win. The other component is, again, your principal office must be in a HubZone and 35% must live in a HubZone. So if you're a home-based business, and your home is located in the HubZone, can you qualify into that program just as a sole owner?
Yes.
Yes,
What makes you able to qualify?
Because of where the house is located.
located in the HubZone.
It's 2 components. The 35%. So you make up that 35% because you are an employee of your company.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This is the map that you can put in your address. And oftentimes people may think of the HubZone as in the hood, but it's not always. As an example, SBA's office, which is located downtown on Peachtree, right next to the Hyatt Regency, Marriott's, Ritz-Carlton. But that street address is a HubZone because there's a shelter around the corner. So once you put your address in, this is what will show up. It's going to determine if that address is qualified as a HUD zone. And this changes based on the census reports. You also could have a whole county that is designated as a HUD zone. When I was in Pennsylvania, I would have to go up, travel the state of Pennsylvania to some of those rural counties that were designated as HUD zones. For the women's program, it's broken down into two components: economically disadvantaged and just the WOSB. And a lot of the confusion comes because all of these databases aren't together. So for the 8A program, you go through certified.sba.gov. For the HubZone program, you go through another database that's called the General Login System. And for the women's program, you go through WOSB.certify. The economically disadvantaged is similar to the qualifications as the 8A. To qualify into this program, you can go through that database and upload the information yourself, and that's pretty much what we teach you in the program. They do have a third-party certifier, and to me, I'd rather you upload that information rather than give it to them and have them upload it, and you don't know, you're not having access to it. Our goal is that you understand the business from the ground up, that you're not going to be dependent on anyone as it relates for your business. Eligibility requirements, as you can see, 51% owned and controlled, no minimum amount of time, full-time working normal hours. You can sometimes get around that based on the industry. And for me, whatever certification I don't qualify for, I'm going to make sure I have some type of arrangement with those who do qualify so that I'm always covered with all the certifications. And this program is still relatively new. It became in law, as you said, in 2017, but they just made it formally in 2020. And when it became law, you had a lot of husbands calling SBA asking how they can have their wife take over a business. Hear me now. You cannot lie to the government. There were databases and things I had access to that the general public will not have access to. So it always amazed me when people will be submitting things that was fraud. The VA, there's no term limits in this program. You also get the benefits of competitive and sole source contracting as well. Also, you all may have heard of the EASE, the minority business enterprise, MBEs, the DBEs, all the E's. That's where subcontracting opportunities come into play, because anyone from the government anyone that receives $750,000 or more from the government, they have to submit a subcontracting plan on how they're going to meet their goals. So if you go on to SBA's website and just Google, where you can just Google SBA prime contracting list, it's going to list all the vendors that have been awarded contracts that are required to have a subcontracting plan. So there's different ways of entry into this space. It's just you understanding what's going to work best for you. The Veterans Program has just now been transferred over to SBA. Do I have any veterans online?
Yes.
You do?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, you do.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. And
Thank
what
you.
I tell my veterans is that whatever military base that you worked on, we're going to go back and find you a contract. For this program, again, everything is going through SBA. If you were certified by the VA, I believe they picked up a lot of those individuals to work with SBA. Qualifications, again, not that much. There's a checklist on the website, and you can go and check that out just a little bit. What I want to do is go through some of these websites so that you can see, I'm a visual person, some of the things that I was just discussing. So when I look at some of my government contractors, this young lady came in the industry with a heavy real estate background. And what I would always tell my real estate agents and everyone that's in a specific industry, when you're creating a business model, you have to think of the task behind that business. In this space, it's just project management. So we have so I was able to help her create a business model, right? That's not around her skill set or her background. And she's done quite well in this space. My other one is, I like to call them my children. This was my $1 billion baby. She just won a $1 billion contract with USDA managing their properties. But if you look over here, you're going to see that the areas of expertise is not necessarily pigeonholing herself in any specific industry. What we like to say as you're going through the training, we're trying to dress you up so that you can look like everyone else. So we had 2 therapists online, right?
Correct.
When you look at your business, what task is associated with that? Would you say there's any administrative services that you could potentially offer the government?
Yes.
It's records management, document preparations. As I said, this was my old boss. She's probably won about $640 million in contracts. But in the end, as I said, everybody was doing the same thing. It's just creating a business model that's not necessarily based on your skill set. And then provide a story behind it. Our goal is to get you to use the same language that the government is using, right? I heard we had a writer on there. Government outsource all of those types of contracts. Everyone should have an IT. IT is always going to be a part of this world. You're just going to find someone else with the skill set. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Now, this database here, this is where it shows you how your tax dollars are being spent. In these programs are strictly for profit business. It is not for nonprofit. what I find in our community is we always have the heart of serving, but that nonprofit side is a little more harder, more structured to get. And they always want more documentation. How many people did you serve? And the whole reason of being in business is to limit your taxes. That's the game. And I say that because I worked on both sides. On my for-profit side, I received a contract to process grant applications. So I was able to see the inside of how the government processes and approves grants. So I was able to start a nonprofit with the intention of when my for-profit started making money, I could dump it into the nonprofit. It goes back to the community, but I created that nonprofit mission statement broad enough so if I wanted to get grants, I could. It's the same money, different purposes. So this database actually shows you by state where your tax dollars are going. We have to understand, again, this is our tax dollars. And it breaks it all down. I wanted to show you an example of a couple of my other students that came and won their contract so that you can get a general idea of what I mean. What I mean in the types of contracts that you can just start out with. So this young lady, this was one of her first contracts, all right? The government needed a 3-day meeting space in Albuquerque. She found the hotel. The hotel's cost was $48,000. She put her bid in $104,000. You can see this was a 3-month turnaround. So she made $60,000 just finding the hotel space for the government. And down here, it'll tell you, what do y'all see here? Anybody? Right here.
She didn't have any competition.
Wow.
She was the only one that submitted.
Wow.
There's not enough small businesses competing nationally. That's why I say the competition is not as much on the federal side. She won one. This was a landscaping job. She's in she's located here in Georgia, but this job was in Miami. She had a contract in Hawaii, picking up the uniforms off the Navy ship. Dry cleaning services. The very first one, the government needed porta potties in Texas. So why I'm showing you this is that I want you to understand that you don't have to know anything about that contract to win it. Your goal is to find the individuals or vendors with the skill set to place on those contracts. That's how you make money in business. You're making money off of people. So if I hire an event planner at $20 an hour, I'm billing out the government at least $40, $45 an hour. I hope y'all are hearing me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to make sure church quiet this morning. So it is a lot of opportunities. We just need to understand how to get in and play the game. When I left SBA, I created this database with the sense of I wanted community. I have almost 2,500, 2,400 people in this database. But the whole goal is that we begin to work together. If I'm here in Georgia and I see a contract in California, you can reach out through our business search to determine who's in California that I can reach out to, that now we begin to collaborate. We collaborate. We pull our resources together so that we all win. That's my goal. That's my passion. That's my mission. Anybody have any questions about what you've learned thus far? No questions?
Mm-mm. It's pretty clear.
No,
Huh?
I do have a question.
Yes, yes, sir.
Caught me there. About the now I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Let me come back to you with the question.
Okay. The program that we've created is an 18-week program. It's broken into 6 weeks per module. Everyone has to start at the same place. I get that so often. I've already registered in SAM. I've already got my certifications. And to me, it's bigger than that and more than that. Because half the ones who have started their entity have not provided or have the right business model to get into this space. So that's why everyone starts in business ready. We don't want you to pigeonhole your business by your business name. So part of the business ready, there is an approval process. We want to make sure that you're going in and not, again, limiting yourself. And as well as being able to, once you're registered in SAMS, we can start competing. Because what I did was take all the templates from that first business and now it's in the program. And what you'll consistently hear us say is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Follow the blueprint. The second module is all about teaming, and you have deliverables for each of these modules. The third module is all geared around SBA's Mentor Protege program and the 8A program. We have a business plan that you would have to submit once you're approved into the 8A, and that has to be approved. I've created a business plan that would be approved. But I don't push people to the 8A because as soon as you're in that program, the clock starts ticking. My goal is doing all of this before you get into the program. So when you're in the program, you're coming in the door with guns and knowledge, and you're not wasting any time. For this, actually, I'm going to go ahead and honor this until Monday. There's $22.97. I'm going to take $200 off that price until Monday. If you bring in a second person, that second person's cost is $1,000. My goal is to get as many as I can in here because it's getting scary out here of what's coming, and I can see it. And my goal is to get you all winning contracts because we need money to fight. And this, in the end, is our tax dollars. So for me, it was about recycling your tax dollars where it comes back to you. The next class will start March 6th. The classes are held from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. in the evening. Everything is recorded. Each week you'll have lab assignments and homework assignments, but everything is applicable towards your business. We also have office hours on Tuesday where all the classes come together for questions and answers. That's from 6 to 7 p.m. And for those who may be challenged with the technology, we have those sessions on Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. And again, I took everything from my first business and created templates so that you'll understand what it should look like. I have a technical proposal that I came in second place. You can at least see what the end result of that RFP should look like. This cohort will be taught by my old supervisor. She has 34 years of experience working at SBA, servicing businesses in the 8A program. Our whole goal is to bring this knowledge back out because SBA is everybody's left. So whoever you're working with there, they're pretty green. We also offer a self-paced, and you also have access to the office hours and the lab sessions. These are 16 pre-recorded of the same information, but you go at your own pace. When you complete the first module, these are the items that you will be completing as part of that module called your deliverables. I'm helping you to understand the government's language, it's deliverables. This is what the teams have produced when they come together. They have to produce a whole package of all of this that they're learning as part of the program. And then this is where I'm sharing your RFP. And this is a QR code for the book. Anybody have any questions? No questions?
Yes,
Can I
I
get-
do. As far as the business plan, someone who doesn't have any background in creating business plan or, as an owner of a company, is that something that's real? Your template is really going to bring us from start to finish with
Yes.
the business plan part.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's one of the
But
parts.
this business plan is not necessarily like the business plan that you're going to be submitting if you're trying to get a loan or banking. The business plan that you're getting in this program is all based on your weaknesses. Because what I'm trying to strategically set you up for is the mentor protege program. In that program, it allows a large business to come in and mentor you. You get to use their resources to put your business on steroids. But you have to outline it through this business plan and it has to be approved by SBA. It's because of these programs are business development. They don't want your business plan. They're just always talking about, I'm trying to get a contract. They want true business development. They want to come out of each of those programs something based on your business, such as like an accounting system, or you have a whole proposal shop. You'll have the internal structure to make you a success. Okay? All right, I always like to hear some takeaways. Dr. Denise, what was your takeaway for today?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, my takeaway is that this information that you provided has given us no excuse for not taking advantage of the opportunities that are out there for companies that we have in place. There's just no excuse.
Thank you. Angela.
I second that. I've been really wanting to get into procurement and contracting for a while. I just really didn't know how to put the puzzle together. So you kind of gave me a good insight on how to start and what I need to get it going.
Thank you.
Very good.
I have someone on the iPhone.
Hi, yes. You helped me change my perspective and thinking, because I was thinking as far as my business, offering the service and doing the work. Now I'm thinking on a bigger scale.
Amen. Thank you. Because again, I always use the analogy of sports. My daddy wanted me to play sports. When you look at the NBA, we try to push our children to become Stephon or LeBron. So if Stephon is making $200 million in his contract, how much is the owner making? Right? And does he have to know anything about basketball? What's his goal?
Exactly. Right.
Huh?
True. True.
What's his goal every year? Anybody? What's the goal?
Money.
Get a dream team together that's going to bring me gold, which means I'm going to make more money.
More money. Yep.
That's the same thing that you're doing in your business. You're building a team of experts that now you can say, government, I have a team of experts that are qualified to perform on this contract. And you, as the CEO, it's not your role to go in and understand all the nuances on the task associated with that contract. That's what you're hiring people for. Hello? All right. Thank you. Dr. Rose, what was your takeaway?
Well, I thank you for everything. I assisted a few people to get 8A certified years ago, and you just bringing me back to like why it's beneficial, and I like your program because so many people kind of fell into their success, and weren't quite sure how they did it, but also how to sustain it after they kind of went through or got closer to the 8 years. So you're exactly what I've been looking for, someone that can actually give a real framework that allows it to be more than just how to get a contract and how to make some money, but
Yeah.
how to maintain and sustain. This is a real business model to step you forward. So I appreciate that, and I look forward to talking with you more. Thanks.
You're welcome, because this is my heart. I'm telling y'all, this is a game changer. My mentor in DC, he got in the program in 6 years. He sold that business for $27 million. This is real. I don't guarantee, I don't promise anything. Hear me now. But what I can say, you put the work in, it does, it happens. And part of our creed in our program is when people start winning their $1 million contracts, they have to sponsor 2 more people through the program and adopt a school in the hood. Because they're not going to take care of us. We have to take care of each other. Thank you, Dr. Rose. Compton, what was your takeaway? Oh, Mr. King, you can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I remember my question now, and I do have a takeaway. All right, so let me just do this real quick. All right, so the question was, if my wife and I were to join and become the one business, and she's a woman, she's from the women-owned program. Right? Well, her status would be women-owned, right?
Yes.
But we've joined forces together, right? So now, but I'm a veteran, so veteran owned as well. So isn't there a percentage of who the federal government looks at?
Yes, and both of y'all will start your separate entity. She will own 100%. You will own 100% of your entity in order to get both of those certifications. And one will go through the 8A program first, and then the second one comes in behind it. That's 18 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So your programming, like for me, I knew of your program a year or so ago. My friend Shakina Rush introduced me to you, and I never pushed the button and did anything. And so I was sitting on the couch yesterday, and I typically see LinkedIn all the time, right? And I see things, and I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I don't want to do it. Whatever. So something said, and I believe in these moments, these spiritual moments, I call them, when something said, go to LinkedIn, and the first person I saw pop up was you. And I said, and I see you all the time. And I said, let me just click on it today and see what it is, right? So I see it and I go, all right, let me try this. And I turned to my wife, she was working out, and I said, look, I think this is it right here. We're gonna get into this thing and look at it. And I think you're gonna benefit from it. You're gonna learn some things, because her and I have been talking about it for a while now. So it was that moment that moved me, right? So I know anything and all things that you talked about. I kind of did my research on you last year, so I kind of know a little bit more about you. So she doesn't though, and she will, because we're gonna look more into it, and we're gonna have our couples meeting about this.
It's a game changer. This is how we began. For me, my father was one of the first Black police officers in the town. And he ran for city council, he won. So for me, we stand on tall shoulders. Well, it's not even an option that we've got to change the game, because we've been told, go to school, get a job. And that's not how you make it here in America.
Right. That's right.
They can't cut that job after you've been there 20 years and bring somebody in cheaper. Hello. So thank you, Michael. Who's on the Samsung? Can you unmute yourself?
Who's Zelda?
Yes.
Hi, I was just I'm really being honest, I'm kind of all confused because this is my first time trying to enhance everything. So I'll definitely have to do some research on a lot of stuff because this is all new to me.
That's all right. That's why everybody starts at the same place. Even if you haven't had a business or you're in business, because we want to make sure you set up properly. And I'm all customer service driven. No soldier left behind unless they want to be left behind. That's our philosophy.
Okay.
All right. And we'll give you the recording as well. Angela, what was your takeaway? Angela? While we're waiting on Angela, Rhonda, what was your takeaway?
Yeah, this is Mr. Rhonda here.
Oh, Mr. Rhonda, I'm sorry.
So the biggest takeaway here for me, Paul, is the fact that you've laid this out to show that you have to be very strategic, very targeted, and structured with your approach, and play the long game. And it's gonna pay dividends in the end. That's the biggest takeaway.
Thank you. Thank you.
Be ready, do it right.
Do it the right way if you're going to get into this game, because everybody to skip processes and jump to the contracts. And it's more than just the contracts. It's a holistic approach.
Correct. It is. So that's my biggest thing.
Thank you. And Angela hung up, and I think I got everyone. Did I get everyone?
No, Gordon.
Gordon. Yes, Mr. Gordon. What did you take away?
I've been looking at YouTube and over the years, and I've seen people do the government contract. They give you a quick run through, and it's solely the get rich scheme that they're pushing. And I've not seen anyone give the full buildup of the program like you went into with your presentation today. So you went into a lot of details, which is for someone who doesn't have the background in dealing with the federal government. This is, you provided a depth of information here.
This is the game plan. My goal and my heart and passion is into this program, because I know when my companies or students win their $1 million contracts, their families are set, their future is set. So I encourage you also to go.
As far as the recording, would you be sending that out? Because I'd like to have my wife look at it also, so she could see your presentation.
Yes, we will.
Okay, thank you.
And I also encourage you to go to my website. Again, every time people win, they have to come back and share their journey on how they won. This young lady, she completed the program in May of last year. The doctor's program is bidding on steroids with her attorney Chandler, where she now have you submitting 10 live bids when in a month. It's bidding on steroids, and she's won 9 contracts since June of last year. So it's real. It's just putting the work in to do it. So I encourage you to go and listen to the stories of people coming back. All right. Well,
Okay. The website is in the chat, and so is the flyer. So go ahead and snatch it up, or simply remember GPIwin.com.
thank you, Miss Tina. She's an integral part of our team. Also, again, the rate, I took $200 off until Monday. So in order to get that rate, please go ahead and jump in on it. All right. With that being said, thank you guys for taking this Saturday morning off to join us and learn about federal procurement. All
Thank
right.
you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Winning weekend, y'all.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.